Today we are going to be doing a yoga flow class focused on opening up our hips and creating more stability in our legs and ankles. All right, so what you need is a yoga block today for class. If you don't have one, you can use a book, or you don't really necessarily need it. You can always just do all the same work, but just on the floor. So just if you have one, grab it. If not, no worries. So we're actually going to start with our yoga block, and we're going to place it between our inner thighs, kind of above the knees so that you don't hurt the kneecaps. Now, if you don't have a yoga block, you can also grab a pillow or a cushion for this. And we're going to come to a nice long neutral spine, really focusing and grounding down into the floor. And you're going to be squeezing that yoga block slightly with the inner thighs. There'll be a little bit more weight on the big toes as we find our slow Ujjayi breath. Breathing in and out through our nose, cyclical like the waves. Reaching the hands up as you inhale and exhale, float them down. Now you can reach them a little higher if you'd like, all the way up to the ceiling, if that feels more comfortable, but do whichever one feels better for you. You can always just bring it to shoulder height. Inhale, exhale down. If you want to add a releve or a lift of the heels, you can bring your hands up to shoulder height or all the way up to the ceiling. Warming up those ankles, and inhale, exhale, lower, taking it whichever range of motion feels right for you. Exhale down. Again, still squeeze those inner thighs, waking up all the way up through the core muscles. So you're really pressing down into the ground to find that strength as you lift up. Now, if this is too much, you can always place a chair in front and place your hands gently on the chair and hold it. But either way, you're going to hold your core. Now, you're going to bend your knees, keeping the heels off the ground if you can. You're going to just hold, squeezing that block. Now, if this is too much, you can always lower the heels, or you can place the hands on your shoulders or on the ground or on a chair. But any way you want, you're just going to find that strength in the squat, lengthen the legs up, or your chair pose, and exhale all the way down. And again, nice Ujjayi breath, breathing, squeezing that yoga block and grounding yourself into the floor. Inhale, reach the hands skyward. You're going to hold onto one wrist or interlace your fingers, and you're going to reach up, opening up between your rib and your hip. Now, if you would like, you can interlace your fingers and reach to the side, or you can just pull upwards, whichever feels right for you. But you're finding that nice reach. And again, reach up or switch the grip so you're holding onto the other wrist to switch to the other side. The whole time you're still squeezing that yoga block, grounding into the floor. You can pull the wrist, just opening up that side body, grounding into the floor as you reach to the side and up, and then you can switch your wrists or just reach to the other side. Again, you're still engaging the abdominals, but you're also opening through the sides, creating that gorgeous length in the rib cage. And right back up, floating the hands down. Again, reach the hands up and down through heart center. Take a moment and hands down. Take a breath, inhale, reaching all the way up. Again, relevating those ankles. Now, you're going to come into your chair pose, squeezing, heels high. Now, if this is uncomfortable, place your hands on your hips or keep the heels down, or you can always, again, place your hands on a chair in front of you. We're going to pulse it. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, squeezing that block. 5, staying strong in your core. 6, 7, come down. You can always keep your heels down. 8, you can always, however feels good for you. And hold, find that strong body, keeping everything really connected. Lengthen all the way up, woo, and slowly lower it down. And again, inhale, exhale, down through heart center, opening the palms forward, taking a moment, still squeezing that block. Nice. Now release that block. You're going to place it where it feels nice and flat on your yoga mat. So you want to have it nice and long so that you feel like you're really grounded. You're going to step up with one foot. Now, if this is uncomfortable, you can do all of this on the floor. You just don't want to sink in your hip. You want to lift all the way up, keeping those abs engaged. Flexing the other foot, and you're going to lift and lower the leg by engaging the obliques, both lengthening and contracting them. Finding that nice connection through the body. Exhale. Contract. You can reach the arms forward. You can also hold onto a chair for all of this. But you're going to feel a lot of work in the legs. You're going to lift that leg out to the side and right back down. And 2. And 3. Still staying strong through that grounding leg. Really lengthening out. And really, I'm really feeling it up through my inner thigh and into my abdominals. And you're going to lift and point that toe, circling the leg. 2, 3, 4. And I'm really trying to keep my core engaged to keep my body nice and still. And again, you can always place your hands onto a chair to support you or a wall right in front of you. And you reverse. Zipping up, squeezing those glutes. Reversing those circles, keep on going, hold, and float that leg down. And we're just gonna switch to the other side. You're gonna feel nice and grounded. Again, make sure your block is nice and flat. Here on the sand, it can kind of shift around, especially with the surf coming in. And we're gonna, again, lift that oblique down and up. And make sure you're really grounded through the leg that's on the chair. I'm not on the chair, on the block. Because you want that hip to stay nice and strong as you both contract and lengthen those obliques. So you're finding that connection through the body. We're lifting, lowering, finding that nice engagement. Now stabilizing, you're gonna lift that leg out to the side. And 2, you can always have your hand on the chair or on your hips or just wherever feels good for you. And exhale. Try to keep those feet nice and flexed, really grounding through that leg that's on either the floor or on the block, so that you feel really connected through the floor. Circle that leg. 2, 3, 4. Reaching through those toes. 6, 7, 8, 9. We're almost there, and reverse it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sometimes it gets a little awkward. 9 and 10. Hold it nice and strong. Squeeze those glutes and float it down and release. You should feel a nice warm connection. You're going to grab a block again and you're going to place it between your inner thighs. Now, if a block is too much, you can always grab a ball that you have laying around the house, like a kid's ball, or just a again, it's above the knees, nice and zipped so you don't hurt your knees, but you can put a pillow folded in half. Zip up those abs, hands down by your sides, finding that nice connection again, grounding into the floor. Ujjayi breath, cyclical breath in the sinus cavity, really working on both strengthening our lung capacity and also slowing our heart rate, kind of triggering the body to release. We're going to reach our arms up to the sides and to the ceiling and then right back down. You can always just come up to shoulder height or down to shoulder height. So take this as you need it. You can also take it all the way down to the hips and all the way up. But we're trying to strengthen our ankles. So if you want to place your hands again on a chair in front of you or on a wall for a little bit more stability, no problems. Just keeping that nice strength as you exhale, lift, inhale, lower. And you don't want to drop your heels, but you almost want to press into the floor like you're juicing a lemon. We're going to keep those heels up again, coming to our chair pose, not arching our backs, but staying nice and strong as we pulse it. You can always keep your heels down, no problems. Hands on hips, hands on chair, whatever feels right for you. Pulse it down. And squeeze, hold it. You can keep those hands on the chair, keeping it nice and strong, finding that connection through the whole body. You're going to feel your upper back also engaging to support the shoulders. You're going to lower and lift the heels. And 2, now you can always have your hands on a chair, hands on your hips. You can have your hands overhead, whatever feels good. And you're just really strengthening those legs. Really warming up those ankles, because as you progress in life, it's so important to make sure you keep that stability and that strength really at any point, especially runners. I find if I don't really warm up my ankles, even now, I tend to roll my ankles pretty easily and come all the way up and hands down by your sides. Go ahead and release that block. Whew. You should feel that whole connection through the body. Now you're going to just place it there, and you're going to imagine that you have a chair, and you could be on the floor with that, with kind of stretching your quads, or again, we can step up on the yoga block. Make sure it's nice and flat and you feel comfortable. You're going to step up, you're going to tuck the tailbone under, and you're going to bend your knee, taking your foot into your hand, really zipping up. You can always have your hand on the chair, even if you're on the yoga block, but you really want to feel that connection into the quads, really tucking the tailbone under so you're not sinking into your back, but you're still staying nice and strong. The more I tuck my tailbone under, the more I feel the stretch through the hip flexors. Try not to dump it down. Lift it up. Keep it going. Keep those abs. You're going to feel that nice engagement. Slowly lengthen the leg. We're actually going to reverse it. Now you're going to flex that foot. You're going to pull the knee towards your chest. You're going to activate the hip flexors and the quads. So you're really finding the strength in the leg now. Really holding it on strong. Point that toe in. You're going to hug the knee, and you're going to circle your ankle. We're just going to do 5 each direction and reverse it. Nice. And you're going to hug it into your chest, get a little bit more stretch, feel that nice challenge to your stability, and then float that foot back and down. Very good. All of the control. We're going to switch other side. Now, again, you don't have to do this with the yoga block. You can always do it on the floor. But if you have one and you want to challenge your balance, you can always put a strap around your ankle if this is difficult, or you just hold on. Really tucking that tailbone under, finding that nice strength. Try not to sink in your weight, but zip up. Nice and strong through the front body. Like you're trying to fit through a tiny straw. And I don't know if that's a good analogy, but sometimes that's the one that I think of. Reach the hand up, or keep that focus forward so that you feel strong. You can reach your hand up or to kind of find that link through the spine if that helps, or you can always keep your hands, both hands on your feet or one hand on a chair, but you're really grounding into the floor, still lengthening the spine. You should really feel an opening through the quad. Now we're going to switch it, engaging the quad. You're going to feel the hip flexors engage. You're going to feel all of the body really lifting and working. You're going to, again, grab onto that knee and circle for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, reverse 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and hold, pull that knee and challenge that balance. Find a little bit more stretch through the body. And you're very gently going to slowly let that leg back and down. Slow release. You're going to go ahead and grab that yoga block. And we're going to place it out of the way for a few minutes. And we're going to do a little bit more work to open up those legs. So again, find that nice Ujjayi breath, finding your mountain pose without the block. Now you're grounding into the floor. Imagine you have that block, so you're not locking your knees. You're going to keep that nice connection as you inhale, reach up. Exhale, down through heart center. And again, inhale. Exhale, folding forward. You're going to take a nice, gorgeous, long spine, halfway lift. You can bring the hands to the shins if that feels more comfortable. We're going to do one more nice halfway lift. Inhale, exhale, fold in half. Nice, relax. You're going to bend your knees, step or hop back, and you're going to hold. Press back into your downward facing dog. I'm going to roll through our spines. And 2. Now, if this is too much at any point, you can always just come to your downward dog and hold it, or you can take the flow on your elbows. But either way, you're really trying to roll through the spine. If rolling through the spine does not feel good for you, try to hinge more at the hip so there's less articulation. But if articulation is something you want to work on, you're going to really work that flow. Now we're going to inhale, reach that leg up to the ceiling. We're going to bend our knee and really focus on stacking our hips, really opening it up. We're going to really find that nice release through the front body. Breathing as we circle the leg for 3, down and around, really warming up those hips, and down and around for 2. And we're going to do one more, and then we're going to reverse it, rolling it down and around, open, feel that gorgeous stretch, and then we're going to find that nice twist and reverse it other way, down and around and up for 3, opening that hip, and 2, opening that hip. Last time, and I'm getting a little snaky in my spine just because it feels good, and if that feels good for you, go ahead and do so. Extend that leg, reaching, opening up those hamstrings. As you re-square your hips, you're going to step through nice and low. Now, take any adjustments, and as you reach back, taking that nice strong position, you can reach your arms forward, keeping that nice connection, and you're going to exhale, lengthen back. And again, inhale, reaching forward, opening that spine, and again, exhale, lengthening it back. Inhale, reach forward. You're going to keep that nice connection. If you want more of a challenge, you can lift that front heel and hold it, keeping that nice connection, grounding into the floor, or holding it. Slowly come down. You're going to drop your back knee, and this is uncomfortable. You can always place a cushion under your knee. This is going to be an intense hip opener. So you might want your yoga block if you have it. If not, it is not a problem, but you might want to put your hand on a chair nearby, on the seat of a chair. But it's up to you. You can take your hand around to your thigh, and you're going to kind of open up, finding that nice stretch as you really lengthen the spine. Now, this is a fairly extreme version of this. You don't have to come quite so far back, but any way you're doing it, you're not dumping into the low back, but you're really lengthening the spine. Like, go ahead and cartwheel those arms forward and extend the back leg. Bring your hands to your knee. Now, you can lift the hand up, or you can take that nice big twist, whichever feels good for you. But you're trying to find now that rotation through the spine. Again, if it doesn't feel good, you can always stay up with a hand on the chair. It is up to you. But we're going to extend that front leg, and you can flex the foot to kind of find a little bit more stretch. I'll move the yoga block so you can see that. And you're going to keep that nice connection. You can point and flex the foot. And again, you don't have to be so low, and you don't have to have both your legs extended, but you just want to stretch in those hamstrings. If you come up a little higher, you can even place your hands on a chair. It's just you want that stretch to be in the back of the leg as you feel that nice long straight spine. So try not to round through the back. So wherever feels good to you. But we're going to sink back down to that twist. We're going to reach the hands back behind us, finding that strength again in the legs. And we're going to really shift forward, strengthening that front leg. Exhale up as you find that nice long body. Now, if you need to take a couple steps in, it is no problem at all, but float those hands down. And again, we're going to find that nice connection as we inhale, reach to the ceiling, exhale down through heart center. And again, inhale and exhale. Nice. Now, find that strong connection to the ground, re-grounding. Find your mountain pose, pressing into the floor. Inhale, reach up. Exhale through heart center. One more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale down through heart center. You're going to reach up. Exhale, forward fold. And you're going to find that nice release. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhaling. Feeling that release through the spine. One more time. Inhale, exhale, releasing that spine. And you're just going to very bend your knees and either hop or step back once again to your plank. Finding that strength and stretching out the back. Finding that beautiful articulation if you can. Now, if articulation is, again, something you're not working on today or does not feel good for you, just hinge forward and back at the hips, and you don't have to worry about finding that articulation. This is your time, and you can take a little walking out of your dog too. And as I walk my dog, I'm really letting my hip shift from side to side so I get that stretch in my rib cage, so I get a little bit more side opening. But if that does not feel good for you, you do not have to do this. Take this class as you need it. It is your time. Take a big stretch through the shoulders, really opening up, letting the head be nice and relaxed. Feeling that nice connection. Beautiful. Lift the other leg up, keeping that nice and connection. Bend your knee, and you're going to open up the hips again. Finding that stretch through the front of the leg. I just love this stretch. I just feel like it feels so luxurious. And you're really trying to stretch and warm up those hip joints. And you're going to circle the leg. And here we go for 2, circling it. And here we go for 3, finding that nice big range of motion, and then we're going to reverse it the other way, down and around and up. And you're really trying to almost roll through the joint. And I'm kind of letting my low back get involved in this just because it feels really nice, but you don't have to. Just take this as you need it, but it should feel a bit luxurious and delightful. Extending that leg towards the ceiling, feeling that big stretch. Square your hips, tuck the tailbone in, and come again to that nice lunge. Now, you can ground into the floor. You're going to reach that hands behind you, really, or you can always have your hands on a chair, but reach it, and you're going to find that lift again, up, opening up the chest. And I'm really finding that nice connection, and exhale, reach it back. And again, inhale up, opening that chest, and exhale, right back down. And again, inhale, open that chest. We're going to hold. Now, if again, you want to lift that heel, you can. And we're going to hold that, really grounding into the floor, finding that nice connection. Breathing. You're going to, again, circle those arms down and around to the floor, and you're going to drop that knee down. And again, you can always place a cushion there if that's not comfortable for you. And you're going to go into the deepest expression of this. So you can keep your hands here. You're going to keep that nice connection. You're going to lift up, opening up that chest, really finding it. So you're not dumping your spine back, but you're really lengthening the spine as you keep that nice connection. You're going to reach the hand around. So I'm kind of supporting myself on my calf because, but you can also keep your hand on the floor. But I'm really breathing deeply, trying to open up those hips. And there's also a little bit of work to keep the stability here. So I'm active in my legs. So I'm not sitting at the very edge of my flexibility. I'm still kind of working those muscles. Go ahead and cartwheel forward and extend that leg, and we're going to keep that nice connection opening up into your twist. Now, again, if your twist does not feel good, you can always just come here and extend that arm either to the ceiling or out to the side, or just hold it to the chair. But if you want to take the rotation, go ahead and do so. Breathing, focusing on that breath. Reaching long through your back leg, taking that nice connection. You're going to take a nice big inhale, really open the chest, and cartwheel that arm down. Again, you're going to keep that nice connection. You're going to slowly extend that front leg. Now, you can keep those hips nice and square, but you want the hamstrings to feel that big stretch. You can always bend your knees, or again, come up, or have your hand on the chair. Just whatever it is feels good. You just want that hamstring stretch as you feel that nice fold forward, nice long spine. And again, you can point and flex that foot to kind of give you a bit of a massage in the hamstrings. You can always use the yoga block, really lifting that spine long. So you're trying to keep the body from rounding. Just feeling that nice, beautiful long spine. And just taking a lovely, luxurious stretch forward. Your hamstrings should say, oh yeah. As we fold back forward, we're getting ready to do that hop forward. So you're going to stay really strong. Ground through that leg. You can keep your hand on the chair, hand on your knee, but you want to really reach, really lengthening that body. You're going to inhale here, exhale, stepping up. Finding that strength again through the body, grounding down through your back leg. And if you need to take a couple of steps to get in, it is no problem at all. But you should feel super grounded through your legs. Nice dig. Inhale to the ceiling, lifting the arms. Exhale down through heart center. And again, inhale, lengthening the spine up, and exhale through heart center. Take a moment and grab that yoga block again. We're not quite done with our balance section. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to take that full expression of dancer. So you're going to be really grounding down. You want to make sure that you're not sitting in your hip, but you're really zipping up, staying strong through those glutes. So if you're going to do this on the yoga block or you're going to do it on the floor, either way, you're going to feel a really grounded position. You're going to bend your back knee and you're going to take your hand to your ankle. Now, if that's as much as you want to do, that's good. You're going to have a nice focus. You can point at the focus with your hand, but if you can switch your grip, staying nice and connected. Lift that arm to the ceiling. Now you're going to start to kick into your back hand, opening up the chest. Now you're really focused on trying to keep those hips as square as possible as you start to open through the spine. Now, really having that focus point is really helpful. You can keep your hand towards the ceiling, or you can point at it, or you can take your hand to a chair. But you're really, any way you're doing this, you're really trying to ground through the spine. And you can see my hips are a little open here. I could have really rolled my hip even a little bit more closed. But you're going to really stay nice and strong. Go ahead and hug that knee into your chest, feeling that reverse, opening up those hamstrings. Take a moment, breathing here, grounding that leg, and switch other side. I find dancer on the block really helpful to help me try to really keep my hips square, because it's much harder to find that balance when you open up your hips. So again, take that hand. You can always hold on with a strap, or you can take it here, but find your focus, hand on chair, hand above you, whichever feels good, and start to kick into that back hand, really opening up the chest, finding that nice strength through the body, grounding down into your leg. And you'll find one side usually feels stronger than the other. Really squaring up those hips as much as you can. Go ahead and slowly start to come down. Fight for that balance. Hug the knee into your chest. Find a little bit more length through the body. Finding that gorgeous spine, and then go ahead and release it back and down, grabbing that yoga block. Now, we're going to just come down to the ground. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to grab the yoga block again. You're going to place it between your inner thighs, again, above your knees. Come to laying on your back. And we're just going to keep that nice connection. We're going to draw the core in, and you're going to roll those hips up, re-engaging. So you're staying really connected. You're not arching in the back or dropping the hips, but you're really trying to create a flat line. So you're finding a lot more work. So really tuck that tailbone under, really tucking the tailbone under, squeezing that yoga block, reactivating those abs so that they're really there to support the back as you hold and then roll down. Again, if articulation is not something you want to work on, you can always hinge at the hips instead of rolling up. And again, we're coming up, we're going to squeeze that yoga block, and we're going to hold it, keeping that connection. We're going to hold it, keep it going, breathing, keeping the neck long, finding that control as you roll back and down. Should feel really good. Your legs should feel very warm. Now, if you have the yoga block, you can place it underneath your hips, but you do not have to. You can always use a cushion if that's more comfortable, but you're going to hug both of your knees into your chest, kind of releasing that spine. And you can extend the legs if that feels good for you, but you do not have to. You can also just lay with your legs up a wall. That's another beautiful release. But if you have the legs extended and it feels good, then you can go ahead and roll on over, getting a full reverse of all of that extension work we've been doing today. You can bend your knees in by your ears, but you should feel a big stretch. But you can take your legs up a wall. I love having a little cushion underneath my hips when I do that. You can roll down, either keeping your hands on your hips or just hugging the knees into your chest as you gently release one leg down at a time. And you can lift the block up and place it out of the way, just so it's kind of not in the way for the next thing. You're going to extend one leg out. You're going to hug the knee into your chest. Now, you should feel this as a stretch in your hamstrings, but even if you don't, the compression in towards your body is supposed to stimulate your digestion. So you should feel that kind of compression in, and then you're going to take it into a twist. If twisting again doesn't feel good for you and you feel like it's kind of compromising your pelvis or your spine, you can always do a figure 4 stretch, hugging the knees into the chest. But either way, you should feel that nice hip release, and then you're going to switch other leg, hugging the knee into the chest, feeling that gorgeous link through the body. And again, stimulating your digestive system. Slowing that breath. And now come into your twist or your figure 4. You're going to feel that stretch into the hip and through the low back. Go ahead and recover. And if there's anything else you need to do before Shavasana, take a moment to do so. But otherwise, we're just going to find ourselves gently coming into our Shavasana. Again, focusing on our breath. And if you want to take a body scan, starting at the top of the head and coming all the way down, you can, with finding any last little spots that are holding tension or stress. If you want to slowly start waking the body back up, wiggling any fingers or toes, and just deepening your breath. Go ahead and bend your knees in and roll over to your side whenever you're ready, and make your way up to sitting. I hope you enjoyed Yoga Flow, and hopefully I will see you again.